Hello, I'm David Westman, CEO of Westman and Associates Consulting. The theme for this presentation is Being a Great Board Member. What we'll discuss is a consolidation of experiences I've had both as a consultant and not-for-profit CEO over the last 25 years, including a number of tough lessons my colleagues and I have learned along the way. Most of the content is addressed more extensively in my book, Board and CEO Roles for Achieving Association Goals, which was published in 2016 by the American Society of Association Executives. Being a great board member isn't easy, but it certainly is very important to the success of any organization. In many organizations, the attorney will address during new board member orientation 3 key fiduciary responsibilities that every board member needs to be attuned to: the duties of care, loyalty, and obedience. There's a lot associated with each of these core duties. Some of what I will be covering in this session may overlap with what your attorney has conveyed, and that's okay because reinforcement can be very valuable. But I anticipate in many ways going beyond what your attorney may have told you. I want to address a set of board member mindsets and behaviors I have experienced firsthand to be very detrimental to a not-for-profit organization and frequently damaging to the board members who exhibit them. As a fan of former talk show host David Letterman, I like top 10 lists, so I'll be focusing on 10 key don'ts as well as what board members should consider doing instead. For those of you who like to have a Reader's Digest version with everything on one page, I've captured the key points on this slide. However, I want to explore each of these items in greater detail. So number 1 don't think you know it all. I know many of you have belonged to this organization for a decade or more and have served the organization in a variety of ways before becoming a board director. This may have included service as a committee or task force chair, or a special interest group. Perhaps you've been actively involved in fundraising or recruiting new members for the organization. You think you know the organization very well, and no doubt you do. Many of you have also served on a variety of boards associated with your professional career and service to other not-for-profit organizations. You believe you know what it takes to be a good board member and how boards operate, and no doubt you do. However, it's dangerous to become too smug in terms of the knowledge base you bring to your role as this organization's board director. The adage, "the more I learn, the less I know," absolutely applies to board service. No matter how long someone serves on a board, there is always more to learn about the organization that could impact the quality of your decision-making. As for governance, every board has its unique culture, operating guidelines, policies, and procedures. Directors who begin service on a new board can't rely exclusively on their past board experiences to guide them in being effective on the new board. So, what to do? Great board members consistently maintain a mindset of there always being more to learn about the organization they serve, especially for new board members, but for experienced board members as well. It's critical that you have a solid understanding of the vision and mission statements, the strategic plan, descriptions of the organization's products, programs, and services, the layout and content of the website, the staff organization structure, and the list goes on and on. More specific to governance, make sure you're familiar with the governance structure, including the reporting relationships of various committees, task force, and related entities, the board policies and procedures, job descriptions of board officers and members, decision-making protocols and committee charges. Bottom line, any orientation documents you can get your hands on. Tap into the expertise and wisdom of experienced peers. Many organizations have a formal mentoring program that assigns experienced board members to new board members. These one-on-one relationships typically last a year and give new board members a safe individual to interact with, helping them understand how best to contribute to the board, as well as the informal customs of the board that can be so important. I definitely recommend every organization have such a mentoring program. It's pretty straightforward to do so and can be very rewarding for the mentors and mentees alike. If the board doesn't have a formal mentoring program yet, you can still pick a board colleague and ask him or her to be your informal mentor or board buddy. You don't have to wait for a formal program to start. Learn not-for-profit governance from external resources. There are programs offered by the American Society of Association Executives and other entities that are targeted at board members, helping them to become more effective. The ASAE also publishes an annual leadership issue of its primary publication each January that is specifically targeted at not-for-profit board members. You may want to get a hold of that publication and read it carefully. Ask stupid questions until you figure the smart ones out. A final key do associated with this don't is taking the risk to ask stupid questions. This is difficult for many of us to do because it goes against our human nature. We don't like to look stupid in front of our peers. Most board members are bright people with a wealth of experience, but they often lack expertise in the day-to-day work of the organization on whose board they sit. It's not a sign of weakness to ask questions, even if they may seem to you rather silly. In reality, asking questions is a sign of strength. It shows you care and are truly engaged, wanting to have the information you need to make smart decisions. Naturally, over time, the nature of your questions will change to become more strategic in nature and perhaps even profound. But in the beginning of your board service, no question is too silly to ask.